Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
I read a study several years back about happiness, and what they did was they had two groups. They always have two groups. You can't have a study without a control group. But the control group was just instructed to be happy, just focus on being happy. And then the experimental group was tasked with doing certain things, going for a walk in nature, volunteering. There were a whole bunch of different things that they were supposed to be doing. Then at the end of the study, they tested the two groups to determine their level of happiness. Again, one group was instructed just be happy, focus on being happy, and the other group was given tasks and really weren't instructed at all about happiness, but just do these things. And what they found is that the group that was instructed to be happy actually had a lower overall happiness score, whereas the people who had things, actual activities to pursue became happier. And the point of the study is that you can't just focus on being happy. You need to do things that will make you happy. And there's a lot that's into that, and I've shared that story in the realm of AmSpirit Business Connections because people will say, well, we want to be a great chapter. It's like, well, you can't just say I'm going to be a great chapter and expect you're going to be a great chapter. You need to do the things that will make you a great chapter, and we have a whole program that's kind of centered around this and getting chapters focused in on the things that will help them become better. Great's not a great word, but you understand what I'm saying, how to improve their chapter, and rather than just focus on being a better chapter, give them activities that will increase the likelihood that they actually are a better chapter. Where I'm going with this is I stumbled across a post on LinkedIn by Justin Wright, and I will tag him in the show. Put his LinkedIn URL in the show notes and tag him when this posts. But it talks about kindness, and you can't just say I'm going to be kind. And I hear people saying all the time, and it's important in networking. It's important in building relationships to be kind to people. If the one that comes to mind is if you can be anything in the world, just choose to be kind. And that's a powerful statement. It is, but just choosing to be kind is not going to make you kind. It's undertaking the acts that are related to kindness that will make you kind. And that's the essence of Justin Wright's post. Wright is W-R-I-G-H-T. And again, I'll put that in the show notes and tag him. But in his post, it's just a simple graphic that's and there are words that go with it, but or dialogue that goes with it. But 9 acts of kindness. And so I want to kind of go through these 9 acts of kindness as provided by Justin Wright. The first, ask how they're doing. I mean, and he puts in parentheses, really doing, really ask. And I think we've all been in that situation. I remember working in public accounting and coming in, and it's the obligatory, how you doing? I don't think people really cared. I don't know that some people really knew my name. But it was just kind of one of those things that, this is awkward. It's an awkward moment. We're crossing each other in the hallway. How you doing? Good. Glad to hear it. And you get the sense that nobody really cares, and so you just kind of, it's doing great, because nobody really wants to know the answer. They just want to hear great. And if it's anything other than great, then that's fine. Just keep it to yourself. Just say great and move on. Second thing Justin shares is show appreciation. Thank you. saying, thanks, and not just thanks, hey, you did a great job, but maybe going into a little bit of detail as to why you appreciate them. I appreciate that you've taken the time to show an interest in me and really ask about my weekend. Well, how is your family? How is your daughter? What'd you do for Thanksgiving? Um, and trying to go that little bit of an extra mile to let people know. Handwritten notes are huge. If you've ever been to my office, and many of you haven't, but if you've ever been to my office, you will see that I have literally hundreds of handwritten thank you notes that people have sent me over the years. Um, and that's not a testament to me. I try to do nice things. It's a testament to the people who have taken the time to write a handwritten note. I keep them. Um, I have, you know, and I try to send them as well. Send them as often as I can. I go through over the last over 1,000 in the last several years because I ran out of cards. I had to get another 1,000 cards. And I don't write long things. I use a Sharpie, a giant Sharpie, so I can't write much. My penmanship is horrible, but it's just, hey, thanks for taking the time. Great talking to you. And that's all it needs to be. And that really is appreciated by people. So show appreciation. Ask how they're doing. Show appreciation. Offer to help without being asked. And genuinely mean offer to help. What I tell people is to just even go the extra mile and find a way to help people. People have posts out there they want promoted. Don't wait for they shouldn't have to ask. Don't wait for them to ask. Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead and give somebody a compliment. Go ahead and write somebody a review. I always tell people, look, you're a sample size of one, right? Ask yourself, what would you like from somebody? What would you like from somebody? And do that for them. They got a book, buy their book. And I'm not saying you need to bleed your finances dry doing things for people, but depending upon the people, go that extra mile to try and figure out what it is, and they shouldn't have to ask. Share your expertise. We all have things that we can do for people, and I'm not saying devote hours to sitting down with somebody and crafting a financial plan for them. If you're a financial advisor, for example, that's your stock in trade, and I'm not expecting anybody to give it away, but there's nothing wrong with going to somebody and just saying, hey, you should, if you're in a 401k, you should probably think about rebalancing, or this is happening. Or here's some, just putting a post up there saying, hey, here's some tricks to, things to look at for improving your credit score if you're a mortgage lender or maybe a realtor or really anybody. What's the expertise? What are the things that you have that, what are the things that you do that could be helpful for people? And I tell you, those things will come back to you. Invite someone new. Welcome people into a group. I find certainly in the AmSpirit world that the quickest way to alienate a guest at a chapter is not make them feel welcome. Go out of your way to make people feel welcome. It's a scary thing to walk into a room for the first time. It's a scary thing to go to a networking event for the first time. It's a scary thing to find yourself all alone at an event. Make people feel welcome, and that will go a long way to building your relationship with them. Number 6, respect off hours. Respect that people do have weekends. Respect that people have evenings. I'm not saying you can't contact people on weekends. It's a Saturday, and I was driving all day yesterday, and so I am responding to people and trying to get caught up. I'm not expecting people to get back to me. I realize that people are out there, and somebody just showed me the other day how I can delay a text going out. So if I'm thinking in the moment on a Sunday night that I really would like to text somebody, but I don't want to forget, I can just go ahead and schedule it to go out when it needs to go out. Ask others for their input. This relates to number 4, which is share your expertise. Other people have expertise. Other people have experiences, and we we honor them, we flatter them by just asking for what they think. Um, I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. And I know there's a number of dings. I forgot to turn my email off. I don't have all the answers, and I can turn to people and get their insight. I can't see the water I'm swimming in. Even people who have less experience than I, like my kids, I'll just sit down and say, "What do you think? What do you think I should do in this situation? You have a fresh perspective on this." There's a saying in the legal profession that an attorney that has himself who represents himself has a fool for a client. We cannot be objective. We cannot, we can't serve ourselves in that way. And so it's important that we get outside perspective, and a lot of people can give us outside perspective. This entire podcast is, I give my daughter credit for it, my daughter Logan, because she's the one who just sat me down and walked me through exactly what I needed to do. Now, could I have figured it out? I probably could have figured it out. It would have taken me so much longer, and it wouldn't have been nearly as good as it is, and I would have made 10 times as many mistakes. But she kind of had an expertise in this, or she works in professional sports and communication, and so she was kind of heading down that path. And so getting her input was invaluable, absolutely invaluable. And so I appreciate it, and I've always, turned to my kids, and my kids have different expertise. My older son's kind of a techie person, and my younger son is, he's kind of the real estate person. Hey, what do you think I should be doing with this? What do you think I should be leasing this for? So, these are my kids. I can reach out to them, and so if I'm reaching out to them, there's a lot of other people I can be reaching out to for expertise, and it really honors who they are. Number 8. Take a walk together. It's just giving people time. Maybe it's not a walk. It's just, let's go have a cup of coffee. Let's just go sit and let's just go talk. Back to the first thing. How are you doing? Let's really, you seem down. You're struggling with this. I know your father just passed away. It could be all sorts of different things. My wife and I, we walk pretty much every morning, weekends excluded. Those are her sleep-in times. But weekdays, it's like rain or shine. We are out there. We probably look crazy in the neighborhood because we are up early and we're out and we walk. But we cover a lot of ground. It's just like, what have you got going today? If they talk in corporate America about walking meetings, just walking with somebody, just, getting away from the grind. I hate going into somebody's office and somebody's working and trying to talk to them and they're still trying to keep busy. I'm walking with somebody or sitting with them over a cup of coffee and, phones are away. I've got their undivided attention. And then the 9th thing that Justin Wright shares is cheer for their success. I don't think there's anything wrong with a little envy. It's like, geez, I wish that were me. I'm happy for you. I wish that were me. I'd like to learn more. Again, asking for their input. I'd like to learn more how I can have that. But I'm really excited for you. I think that's awesome. I think what you're doing is great, and you deserve it. There's so much to other people's successes that we don't see. We don't see it, and the struggle. Sure, people win the lottery. I get it. But for the most part, 99.9% of the time, 9999% of the time, people are working really hard to get where they're at. They are. Somehow, some way, there's been some sort of sacrifice, and you don't see it. You just see the very, very end of it, and you need to cheer for that. You need to cheer for whatever it is. You don't have to know what went into it. You just know that something was there, and they did a whole lot to get where they're at. So those are 9 things, and I will put a link to this and Justin Wright in the show notes. So don't just try to be kind. Do the things that lead to kindness, and you'll be considered more kind in the long run.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.